Welcome, everyone, to the first ever episode of the Yap Off podcast. There has never been another episode of these four people talking in the microphones with each other ever. It's never happened before. If anyone tells you otherwise, they're lying. It's like season 0 of Yu-Gi-Oh! With me are some of my three favorite people in the world. You can see their name. If you're watching the video version, you can see their names spinning in a wheel. I'm Ted. With me is John, Joe, and Sam. I'm glad we're still here. Hey, great work, everyone. We're really efforting this whole thing.
It is our first time recording.
It's my favorite.
How are we supposed to know who talks first? You know?
Yeah, we don't know who talks. Why should all of you? And I thought, there'd be something. But I'm gonna date this podcast. We are 2 days away from 2025. You're watching this in 2025, but the big news has happened. The offseason is moving. Josh Bell has signed a 1-year, $6 million deal to return to the Nationals, because when you trade a 23-year-old Inner Circle Hall of Famer type and the prospects you get back seemingly are panning out, what you do is push all your chips in and you bring back Josh Bell.
Josh Bell has hit everywhere that he's gone, and all he's done is hit dingers. And I
No,
don't
100%.
understand why we signed him. Like, I'm being serious here.
No,
he's a good piece to have.
That's
a great signing.
It's like
For a team that's going to finish in last place, it's a great signing.
That's so disrespectful to the Nationals because the Marlins exist.
That's true.
I like Josh Bell. I just feel like the Nats, with like a very good young core, should be actually pushing their chips in a more meaningful way.
It's just it's
Can
a
you
tough
imagine
division,
when
you want to grow the right way?
When the 30 for 30 documentary is written and produced on this podcast, and they're going to go back and say the first conversation topic was a 5-minute conversation about Josh Bell signing a 1-year deal to the Nationals.
All right. Well, in respect to that, the first conversation was me saying that Juan Soto had signed a 7-year deal with the Minnesota Twins. If you want to be technical.
I wish.
But that didn't happen, technically. Like I said, it's like season 0 of Yu-Gi-Oh! If you're familiar with that.
That's the one where they roll the dice and the
No,
the
that's
guys
Dungeon. That's Dungeon
Super
Dice
One?
Monsters, brother.
No,
That's the middle.
crap.
That's in between Duel City and after Duelist Kingdom, bro. Season 0 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is
What
when
idiot.
you are. Yeah, season 0 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is when instead of playing card games, Yugi Moto had another little guy in him. It's still the same guy, but instead of playing Yu-Gi-Oh! He played like high card, low card, and if you lost, you'd fall off a building and die. This is real. This is a real.
Could we all agree that My Valentine was the worst or most overrated duelist in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh?
That's so disrespectful to Mind Valentine when Rex Raptor exists.
The Marlins of Yu-Gi-Oh!
I don't know if
Austin,
I
that
can
was
back
it.
you up there, John.
Rex lost and that was it. Like, Mai would lose with the exception of beating Joey the first time, she never won anything. In fact, she probably just stole the ship, but you never saw her. She lost to Taya.
No, she forfeited to the install. God, you're fucking. I'm not gonna sit here and go through the plot points of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like I did to Joe when he got one thing wrong about what happened in Boy Meets World. I'm not gonna do it. It's not gonna happen on this podcast. It'll happen.
That was a long
Maybe it'll happen in another episode. It won't be this one.
Yu-Gi-Oh's better than
Ted is a Boy Meets World kid too. You know?
I'm not a Boy Meets World kid. I'm just like I have information that's just like stored in my data banks that like I can't forget. For the first episode of the Yap Off podcast, I'm so delighted to be doing a draft with these three favorite people. I was debating if I was going to make a word bank type system for the draft, so we had specific things to draft from, but I felt like that gave me too much information in the draft ahead of time, and so I did not want to give myself an unfair advantage. Cool. Thanks for chiming in, guys. Fantastic work as always.
We're getting better.
Yeah. Eventually the banter will be there. So we are going to be doing a draft of high school movies. Now, when I say high school, these are not movies about kids in high school coming of age. They could be, but that's not the focus. These are movies that came out while we were in high school. I'm going to have to try to remember this time frame off the top of my head. It has to be from, I got to work backwards. The time frame is from 2011 to 2005.
Correct.
I got there. That's when we were in high school. You can figure out who's the oldest and youngest. You could make your own, in your mind's eye, your own list of who's the old person here. In order to pick,
Perez did spend 6 years in high school. He had to, just make sure he really understood everything.
Yeah, maybe I just did some post grad years. You don't know that.
Yeah, it's true. Maybe
a PhD.
There is my favorite part of the American school system is freshman year 1 and freshman year 2 for certain people. That's always an interesting one. In order to figure out the order of the draft, so I'm not potentially favoring anybody, we have this wonderful wheel here where I'm just going to spin the wheel and see who gets the first pick.
No whammies.
Keep going.
Oh, you've got to be kidding.
Rigged.
I'm not like a guy. I don't do these things. I'm not a code guy. I'm not a code monkey.
Rigged.
So the first pick will be mine. I will be removing my name. So it's not rigged. It was completely random.
So you can't get the second pick too?
No, I cannot get the second pick because it'll be a snake draft.
Oh, great.
Second pick will be John. Technically, he's not the winner. I'm the winner of the wheel, but we will continue.
50-50.
And unfortunately, Joe will get the last pick of the draft.
Story of my life.
He gets the wraparound spot, which is a good spot to be in.
Yeah. I think I'll take a rom-com and then a wide receiver on the way back.
But this is snake draft, correct?
This is a snake draft. Hey, you know what? I'll give us 5 minutes. If people want to see if they can trade picks, let's see. Maybe you just want to swap first rounders. You can, and I will say this: you can draft future picks. You can trade future picks or swaps. They'd be swaps.
I have some slot machines calling my name for the New Year's, Ted.
Okay.
So
I am fine with obviously I'm fine with, but if anyone, no swaps, no one wants to try to move up. All right, fine.
Yeah, I think number one is
I mean, I'm gonna pick my first. It's like, this is the biggest, I'm the most relieved I've ever been in my life. Screw my dad getting out of the hospital right when COVID started. Wasn't relieved then. Me getting the first pick in the high school movie draft, the most relieved I've ever been. I think we're all in agreement. The number one pick is obvious. It's Superbad. Am I about to be the surprise of a generation?
No, you're 100%.
That was number one on my board.
Yeah,
same with mine as well. Yes.
I
think it was a second round prospect, but
you're insane.
No,
that's
I'm
absurd.
Just kidding.
This is the
Eunice Mike, get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Actually, Joe,
when the wheel landed on you, I had a face like Jerry West when the Grizzlies lost the lottery.
It was
staring into space. Like
the wheel spinning on me was the Knicks getting the number one pick, the folded envelope. It was cold. The wheel knew.
Yeah. Exactly.
The Superbad's the movie I've watched the most in my life, I feel like.
Yes, I have the same. I quote it every single day. Tiger got out of the cage. I mean, this is, and especially for us, this was the era that made Judd Apatow a Hall of Famer.
This isn't a Judd Apatow joint.
Insane run.
This isn't a Judd Apatow joint.
No, sorry.
Seth
he'll
Rogen.
be featured a lot.
Yeah.
He'll be featured a lot. Yeah, but that like Rat Pack. Seth Rogen, Michael Cera, Jonah Hill. It is the funniest movie, and it gets funnier with every time that you watch it.
Yeah.
I cackle at every new. It's not a new line because I'm watching it again. McLovin's the funniest. I mean, when he walks into the class out of nowhere, and then the teacher's like, "All right, if you're not in this class, get out." Bogle, hi. Like, I don't know why that makes me laugh so much, and that's not even the funniest line of the movie, but it makes me laugh. The montage of them baking together. Emma Stone's exceptional. Like, this is a great run for. I know I said Judd Apatow, but I mean like Seth Rogen. Like, and I'm not tipping picks here, but this was one of many creations. I could dive into the history of that. I'll yield it for now, but like, you could tell that they really honed this script for the 6 years, because originally it was supposed to be Seth Rogen was supposed to play Jonah Hill's role, and then I forgot who was supposed to play Michael Cera's role, but those two were exceptional. And then the X Factor is Christopher Mintz-Plasse, who has some pretty good movie roles in this era as well, from the 2007 to 2011 timeframe. So yeah, if you didn't pick that, I was picking Superbad, and then I know Sam would have picked it. So yeah, this is 100%.
I just want to say my favorite streamer has like gone on the record. He may or may not be bald. I'm not here to speculate on that. He said your favorite movie is the first rated R movie you saw with your friends. And this was that movie for me. My friends and I snuck into the theater to see this movie.
The scene where Jonah Hill is going to buy the liquor illegally, and he snaps his fingers, and the bill turns into an $80 bill. That is the closest I have come to actually peeing myself in a movie theater. Like, period. I could not stop laughing. Like, also, like, just a great in theater movie experience.
It is.
It's
yeah,
just
no,
like
it was.
High school idiots watching this movie, and just dying in it.
As I've grown old as an adult, my favorite scene, and I text this line to my friend every time I watch this movie. There was a point these last couple months where I was watching this movie every night because I would drink 3 beers at a bar, come home and watch this movie. And it would be,
as one does.
Yeah, as one does. It is the scene where Jonah Hill's walking out in the house party with the detergent bottles filled with beer. And he, I don't know the actor's name. I know the character he plays in Community, which is Sean Garrity. He bumps into him, who's the host of the party, and he goes, "What's this?" And Jonah Hill just lifts up the bottles and says, "It's detergent." And his response, "Yeah, what are you doing with it?" kills me every time. That is a kill that will stone cold kill me now. It is so funny.
Scene that cracks me up the most is when they're when they're questioning the worker after the robbery. And they're like, "All right, so how tall was he? I'm going to start up here. You start here."
Was he
like?
Right,
so you're like,
was he like us or like you?
Oh, a Jew. All right, he was a black Jew. That did he look like this? And he just draws an M&M.
Yeah.
Listen, Ted, I'm happy for you, but
yeah,
I'm just saying. I don't know if you ever seen that meme, like he's arguably not even top five Lakers. It's like, it's not ridiculous to say. It's arguably not even the best comedy in the list from this time period.
That's insane.
We might have conversations.
I'm excited to see the wraparound pick.
I'm excited to see where you're at. John, you are on the board. Thank God I'm not playing the pick is in sound every time.
Okay. Yeah, I want to hear that argument against Super. There's only, I'm thinking off the top of my head, two or three other movies that came out at this time that could have that argument, and I could see if you like this movie over Superbad, but it's not, it's like saying one movie's a 95 and the other is a 94. Like, you really can't go wrong. With that said, and because it's not in the time period and came out in 2004, which makes it ineligible for this list, the number 2 pick of the second best comedy, or the 1A comedy of the 2000s, I think, is Anchorman, but we can't choose that. So what I'm going to go with...
I will say this. I want to... Sorry to step on your toes. As an adult, I am an Anchorman hater. I think...
Okay.
I'm just like, the quoting of it, the quotes are so nonsense to me that, like... Maybe it's because I'm also from Southern California and I know people from San Diego. Maybe that's making me a little biased.
Yeah, you were offended.
Yes, I'm offended on behalf of them. But what is your pick?
Yeah, listen, we're all allowed to be wrong. Joe's wrong with his Superbad pick. along with this. It's Knocked Up for me.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
And I know that I'm getting. I probably could have gone with another pick that was sort of like a buddy type movie. With two older guys that might have moved in together or whatever. That was also funny, and another funny guy of this generation, two funny guys of this generation.
Oh,
I think
right.
it's just like this is. I think this movie it like Superbad causes me to giggle, and I will watch it till its entirety every single time. Seth Rogen is great, but all the ancillary characters, Jonah Hill, Jason Segel, like basically the cast-offs of Freaks and Geeks. I think everybody was in it. I don't think James Franco was in Knocked Up or Linda Cardellini, but like the rest of them were for the most part.
Was
Martin Starr's in
Birdie?
it.
That's her name, Birdie. Was she in it?
Izzy Phillips?
Yeah.
Probably not. So never mind. So two people from Freaks and Geeks are in it. But anyway, that's the whole three people: Martin Starr, Seth Rogen, and Jason Segel. Jason Segel's very funny because he comes off as like this know-it-all guy that in actuality is 24 at the time. He plays like the suave older guy. Seth Rogen rolling the dice in the dance scene always gets me every single time. I think Leslie Mann does a good job of playing the straight man, and then I just giggle every time they catch Paul Rudd playing fantasy baseball.
He got Matsui.
Yeah, he got Matsui. Right. On his Baltimore Orioles stuff. And I don't know why this is sad but funny at the same time. When Leslie Mann just goes, I like Spider-Man. Like, I saw Spider-Man 3. It wasn't that great. I get why she's crying, but don't cry over Spider-Man 3. Because you didn't see Knocked Up. I would cry if you didn't see that movie.
You can pretend she's crying over Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2 wasn't great either.
Well, you are insane.
You are
a psychopath. I will say Knocked Up this is a surprise pick to me. This is not on my board.
First round pick.
This is not on my board. So I'm surprised.
I'm confident my other picks will get chosen. Yeah. I'll listen to your arguments, but yeah, go ahead.
I have no arguments for or against Knocked Up. It's been a long time since I've seen it, so when I was doing my research, I was like, I'm not intimate with Knocked Up enough to make a decision.
Again, there are other comedies from the time that surpass Knocked Up. I don't think Knocked Up holds up as well as Superbad or some of the undrafted comedies that we might get to during this conversation.
It doesn't have to be comedies, but my
first round pick is not a comedy.
We all said this is skewing towards comedy because that's what we watched in high school. I feel like I know what Sam's pick's gonna be, but I'm interested to be surprised.
So I've got a pick that I feel like I have to make because I don't know if it would get back around to me. If not, also like a seminal comedy of the era. I don't know if it's aged particularly well, but if we're talking about movies that we loved while we were in high school, this is absolutely at or near the top of the list for me, and that would be Borat. Parentheses 2006.
That's I omitted. I made the socially conscious choice.
I'm
that from my list.
Prove to my high school self here.
No, that I respect that.
Like, has that movie aged gracefully? I would argue not in the least. But if we're talking about, I guess sort of like your issue with Anchorman is you have people quoting it every day for eternity in 2004. That's sort of where Borat was in my sophomore year of high school. So, and also just more in general, just shout out to the Ali G show.
Oh, I do love the Ali G
show.
For
the parameters of this draft.
Yeah. Also, that's a TV show.
It is.
I will say,
it's media.
Not to quote. I'm gonna quote The Sopranos here. I'm gonna quote AJ. In response to Borat, it wasn't fair to the people.
You know what? It was not fair to the people, but
I'm surprised.
It was a movie that I felt like I could not let escape.
I respect you being true to your high school self. If I wanted to be
also, I don't think Joe is going to take the movie that.
No shot. This Borat pick is like when the Raiders drafted that cornerback in the first round that Mel Kiper didn't even have in his binder, and they turned to Mel, and he was like, "I have no idea who this player is."
You cannot be like, I have no idea who Borat is. That seems
no, but I'm saying that's how egregious of a first round pick it was. You take Borat.
I don't think this is an agree.
This is not a first round pick.
I'm a.
You know what?
I'm woke. I'm woke. I will say. Yeah.
I don't even think that Knocked Up was the best Jason Segel movie available to us in the draft.
Oh, so I agree with that. 100%.
Yes, so I agree. Yeah, I know. And
I'm going to say this.
It's like Ted said. Like, number one, I think, was a lock for all four of us.
Yeah.
Or at least three of us. And then you're going to get some really high value picks throughout the rest of the
yes, I agree. I want to say I'm woke. Obviously, but I'm also happy with who we elected president, all that stuff. Please don't put me in the camps, whatever. Like Borat was like a cultural moment in it's to be like, this is a 4th round pick, or like, oh, this wasn't even on the radar for number 1, is insane. I sat for a good 5 minutes at home on Christmas making my list, and I was staring at Borat for like a while trying to figure out if like I'm gonna put this on my list. So
listen, a couple points here with Sam, and I'm in agreement with a lot of it. I felt the same way. I didn't see Borat till it was on demand, like on Spectrum here in New York. Yeah, so my whole freshman year, because I'm only a year younger than you, Sam, it was all quoting, and I had no idea the context to it, and I just got annoyed by everyone quoting it in school. So I was
didn't know whose wife it was. Yeah,
I didn't know whose wife. Right, exactly. And so I already had 2 strikes against it, and then I watched it, and similar to Superbad, it felt like the first movie that was rated R that I was watching with my brother at the time. That was like, oh man, I feel like an adult for watching this. It doesn't age well in 2025. Having said that, though, the jokes are still very funny, and even some of the quotes are still very funny. So, for example, like, you will never get this, you will never get this. Like, that doesn't age well, but like, I don't know, stealing my wife's phone and then like running around the apartment screaming, "You will never get this," is hysterical to me. Like, you could still use that and transfer it to other jokes. That's number 1. Number 2, like him walking into the hotel talking like a pimp is like, I can't get through it. That's very funny. And yeah, this suit is not black. Like, I don't know, it's very stupid. It's a street joke. And I can't help but smile every time I see it. And Sacha Baron Cohen's incredible with all of that. So yeah, no, this is obviously it wasn't my first round pick, but I had it like 2nd or 3rd round. I was hoping it would get back to me.
I want to say, like, I have a group of friends. One of them is married. Every time he says "my wife" in a normal human voice, I always say without fail, "I'm sorry, you just said some words. Didn't really understand what you meant. Maybe it was your accent. I didn't understand them." Does the Borat voice, says "my wife," and I go, "Oh, that's what you said." Like, it is like, you have to, like, it's just like, so if someone says "my wife," you have to say it with parentheses Borat voice.
Exactly.
Joe,
I'm excited to see the rap.
This is the most important. I cannot wait to hear what this pick is.
So there's a couple different angles I can go here since I have the snake. Is I can round out the comedy round 1 to show that we all had a comedy in our first round, but I don't believe, since this is a personal draft of our favorite movies from our high school era, the comedy, even though it should be it's first round eligible, let's say, first round grade prospects, it's not my number 1 pick, and it is my number 1 pick is Inception from 2010. Inception, fun fact. So Christopher Nolan is my favorite director. He had just come off of The Dark Knight and The Prestige. So that's a hell of a triple header there, or a triple crown run: Prestige, Dark Knight into Inception. It came out on my birthday. I had failed my driver's license test that day. I had gotten like no sleep, like sleep deprived, like 3 days in a row. Like, it was just like I was having the worst time of my life ever. And I went to the movies, and Inception, if you saw it on, a small TV on DVD after it came out, I feel bad for you, because
well,
if you
that's the
saw
way
Inception,
you're supposed to watch it.
right.
Right.
So if you saw Inception in theaters, experiencing the twists and the water coming through and the everything turning, upside down, and all of the craziness that happens in Inception, like, it quite literally changed my life. Like, Inception made me want to be a filmmaker. It made me want to, start appreciating movies, and, start following Christopher Nolan even more at that point. Like, I still to this day think Inception is one of the best movies ever made. Not that it's the highest rated movie compared to some of Nolan's other ones, but like the core, what is a movie? What is a movie going experience? What is experiencing a big blockbuster moment in the theaters? Like, I still think Inception might be the most quintessential, quote unquote, like big screen movie I've ever seen. So I could have went with the comedies here to round out, have all funny haha first round, but I would be doing a disservice to my 16-year-old self if I did not pick Inception.
Do you want me to be honest with you right now, Joe?
Sure.
I was sitting around making my list, saw Inception, I said, this is a Joe pick, and I omitted it from my list.
Thank you.
I'm not a big...
I never saw it.
Really? I didn't see it until college, until I was like well into college. Like, it just missed me. So like I understand the pick. Obviously, like Inception's not, it would probably, I don't know how I would pick it if I put it on my list, but it's not like a pick for me. But you're being true to yourself, and I respect that. All
now,
right. Are you
I
ready?
was gonna say, do we go on to the next one, or?
Yeah, you got your, I'm taking that silence as Joe. What's your second pick? I will say,
I didn't know if Sam had any thoughts on Inception or not.
My only Inception question, since you're a big Nolan head, is I'm going to ask about this movie because it's not in the parameters of 2005 to 2011. Where do you stand on Tenet?
Tenet, I think, is a fine movie. I think, like, it is an entertaining watch. I don't think it is as good, quote unquote. I'm doing air quotes for our audio podcast here. Good as the other Nolan movies, and I think if I don't know, if Sam Tydings directed Tenet, people would be going like off the walls. This is the craziest, coolest thing ever. But because it's Christopher Nolan, who has so many other bangers that are also about time and confusing story plot lines and all these other things, like that, there's so much to compare that is better than Tenet in his filmography that people kind of just put it to the wayside,
I really like Tenet, and I like it because it's Chris Nolan taking a swing for absolutely no reason. He does not need to make this kind of movie. He doesn't need to do this. And I think it's fucking cool that he's taking a swing like this.
Yeah, but like, you could easily say it might be his 7th or 8th best film that he's made. The 7 ahead of it are all-timers,
I'm going to speak for everyone on the podcast here. Chris Nolan has just announced he's making a Odyssey movie. Everyone here knows that the Odyssey is not an American book. We all are familiar that it's a Greek mythology. We're aware of this. We didn't have to Google what the Odyssey is. I know I sometimes come off as very facetious. We understand the Odyssey. Is that correct?
Not everyone had the same education system you did.
We had to read the first 4 chapters before my first day at Columbia.
Really?
It's like summer reading for the whole freshman class, basically.
Why didn't my stupid sister tell me that? She sucks. I
can't help you there.
Yeah, I know. All right, Joe. Second round. Where you at?
I mean, I think this is Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, because I gotta lock in The Dark Knight. I think the fact that The Dark Knight is not a first round pick. I know we're funny haha guys. You spelled Dark Knight wrong. It's only tilting me a little bit.
Don't worry about it. Well, I don't spell it like that. I spell night like it's night.
Oh, okay, like good night. Okay, gotcha. I think this is arguably the best film most people, the best superhero film of all time. Most people would probably say.
That's so disrespectful to Spider-Man 2.
Well, not according to Perez. I think the Dark Knight changed the superhero landscape forever, making it darker and grittier, and people outside of the comic book started getting engaged in the comic book universe because of the Dark Knight. Who knows how well? I know DC is not an Dark Knight's not an MCU product, but who knows how well MCU would have performed, post in a non-Dark Knight world, but everyone got invested in these superhero storylines, these big summer blockbusters. The script is very tight for a very 2.5 hour long film. Heath Ledger, literally died for the performance, for the art of making the best version of the Joker.
I think one of the Olsen twins killed him. It wasn't.
Is that what happened?
I think Courtney Love did it. That's what
I think he was just depressed. I think it was what it was.
It made a hell of a Joker. I think to this day, I've probably watched The Dark Knight at least 20 times in my life. It's just the script is so incredible. The storylines, the amount of times that I quote, you either die a hero or live one to see yourself.
That's a meme, bro. I tweeted
to Scott Hansen for Red Zone.
I will say this is the best Batman movie, in my opinion. It's not a contest. I will say, I want to tell a quick anecdote about Rises. Is that the last one?
The third one.
Yeah. So I'm seeing this in theater with my family. My sister and I, very familiar with how Christopher Nolan sort of casts people. And we knew that Talia al Ghul was going to show up. We knew it was going to be, what's her name?
Marion Cotillard?
Yeah. And so I'm expecting the betrayal. Spoiler alerts, when she stabs Batman, there was this elderly couple, either behind me or a couple seats down, with the loudest audible gasp I had ever heard in a movie. And I was so delighted.
That's awesome.
Perez, no thoughts on Dark Knight?
Yeah, no, I was just waiting to get in here. It's a fantastic movie. I thought Joaquin Phoenix did a really good job in the current Joker, but we were robbed of a potential Heath Ledger Joker, which would have been fantastic in its own right because I really like the first one. No, it's a great movie. I was never a big Batman fan until I watched The Dark Knight, and that's solely because of him. Two-Face in there, it was just all great. I knew nothing about Batman going into it. I mean, I didn't become a Batman fan afterwards, but I did really enjoy it for 3 hours. However long the movie was, I kept pausing it. That was another one that I saw on DVD, not in the theaters. But yeah, let's put a smile on that face. Very quotable. It's a shame. It's a shame we lost Heath Ledger, man, because that was probably his best role, right? I would say.
The Gay Cowboy movie.
Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah. Oh yeah, true. Right.
No, 10 Things I Hate About You or whatever, when he sings he's singing in
yeah.
That's true. That was more believable than being a Joker.
All right, I just remember
the Ledger movie is actually A Knight's Tale, which is
that is a banger.
That is such a man. I love Knight's Tale along with another movie. I was thinking about this is another future draft, so I don't want to say the movie. But Knight's Tale, along with that other movie, was where I would just be channel surfing on a Saturday in elementary school, high school, where if I saw that movie on, I'd be like, well, I'm leaving it on this station and I'm gonna be listening to it when I'm doing other things. I would watch that movie.
The issue, though, Tydings, is did Heath Ledger sing any Frankie Valli songs in A Knight's Tale?
He does dance to a David Bowie song, but I don't think he sings anything.
Well, at least in A Knight's Tale, he's sponsored by Nike.
Of course.
I want to say also, I said Dark Knight's probably the best Batman movie. Sorry, I forgot The Batman exists, and that's my favorite.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah, thank you. Sam, second pick.
If you know me well, I think you knew I wasn't going to let this get away from my my draft board. That would be 2007's Hot Rod.
Yeah, that was number 2 on my board. I thought this would be your first pick. So I'm happy to be close to right. I assume if you wouldn't have been true to yourself, this would have been your first pick, just for my own ego's sake. Yeah.
Right. Well, this is also like a very true to me.
Yeah.
I've seen this movie, super bad level number of times.
I watched this movie on Thanksgiving when I went back home.
Yeah, I watched this movie like maybe a month ago also.
Yeah.
Not even in preparation for the draft, but just for the love of the game. Another incredible cast, obviously. Andy Samberg with a real star turn as the titular Rod. But the sort of side characters in it, Danny McBride, Bill Hader, Will Arnett with a great side role.
Yeah.
I'm still not exactly sure how they got
the guy from I know who you're asking.
Totally blanking right now. Ian McShane.
Yeah.
I have no idea how they got Ian McShane.
I think they explained it on the podcast that like they had just asked for him and whoever plays the mom, like, can we just get them? And I think they said yes, because they said on the Lonely Island podcast that like Ian McShane would have to like go into his car dressing room to do ADR lines for the show he was in at the time.
Deadwood?
Yeah, Deadwood.
Yeah, he was in Deadwood at that point. And also, of course, Chris Parnell as the guy explaining how amazing AM radio is.
Yeah.
Having the broadcasting rights to the jump at the end. It's just such a great bit. It's like one of those movies where like, if you haven't seen it, you probably just heard, oh, it's that movie that is kind of weird and possibly sucks. And then once you watch it, you're like, oh my God, I understand why this is one of the best comedies of the 2005 to 2011 era, which we cherish so much.
Yes, it is. I think it's so like, I didn't see it in theaters. This was a pick where I saw it post high school, but it's number 2 on my list. If I watched it in high school, I would have loved it's such an endearing comedy. I feel like it was up against Superbad, which I think hurt it. I think was a lot of what had to do with it, but I love this movie.
Summer of 07, baby.
Yeah. My favorite moment in this entire movie is when Rod jumps the pool, goes home, and it's when he learns his dad needs the heart surgery, but he walks in and he's seeing all these people hug his dad, and he says to his mom, "What is this? Some sort of interactive art piece?" No one guy can be that dumb. Like, it kills me. Yeah, this is if this had gotten to me on the wraparound, I would have been floored.
Yeah, I mean, if like Perez had the number 1 pick and I had the 2nd pick in the draft or something, I would have taken Hot Rod number 2 overall. But it was I'm happy to end up with it. I think it's a key addition to my squad.
That is an incredible set. Like, I have no notes. Perfect 2nd round pick. Should have gone in the 1st round. I'll say it, but that's just me.
Well, I mean, what's her face? Isla Fisher.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Cementing herself as a great comedy, with Wedding Crashers into Hot Rods. As a wedding,
that is Mrs. X Borat right there.
Yeah. In the same draft, they're gonna have to share the same locker room.
They're gonna have to share the same locker room.
I don't remember. I've only seen the movie once.
You're missing out, buddy.
But obviously,
watch it again, Joe.
To me, no, I thought it was funny at the time. To me, the most iconic line is the you look pretty. What'd you say? I said you look shitty. Denise, good night, or whatever, whatever he says, and runs away. Like, I still see that clip all the time and I die laughing.
Oh, let's also give flowers to I'm Rod and I like to party. Yeah, that whole exchange, amazing. We're like, it's like I said, it was up against Superbad and it stood no chance. And like on it, when it premiered, but man, it was underappreciated.
One other line, I need to get this out there, but a line I think about a ton from this movie is when they're filling up the pool in the backyard before Rod's going to try to hold his pee underwater for a whole minute. And Bill Hader just like mutters to himself, like, man, pools are great for holding water. And it's just stupid stuff like that.
I also want to say that, like, when his sister comes out with like the grape aid or whatever, and she's like, where do you want me to put this? On the table. What table? It's your backyard too. Is also a great exchange. Bill Hader is fantastic in that role. Like, oh man, that movie's great. John, second pick.
All right. I'm glad that this finally got back to me, and I think I have a chance to get my second and third pick too. For this one, I'm going with Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Ooh, oh,
there you go.
That is not the. Go ahead.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall is it's another one where if it's on TV, I'll watch it till completion. Bill Hader is hysterical. Obviously, he's not the main character, but I laugh at every scene that he's in. I think this is Jason Segel's best role. He's in some other good ones too. I don't want to tip any picks, but similar cast too.
You can name a movie because I'm picking it.
I Love You, Man.
Yeah, that will be my pick. But
okay, all right, good. So we'll get to that in a second because chocolate, not chocolate. But no, I think Paul Rudd's scene is really funny too. I mean, anytime Paul Rudd shows up in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, he's great. And then I think they do a really good job of Kristen Bell does a really good job of blending between being like the bratty. I'm trying to think of a non-mean word to say, but like, you know, basically like she can be funny, but then she's also mean-spirited. Paul Rudd's scene when Russell Brand gets hurt on the beach is very funny because it's just like, Kunu, call 911. All right, bro. Kunu, call 911. Oh, all right, X-Man, you got it. And then he just, you sound like you're from London, which is really funny to me as well. So that's a great scene. Mila Kunis is fantastic. And then because it's not eligible, she was great in Ted as well. Ted came out in 2012, so that just falls out there as well. Yeah, no, this is a great movie. This is, I think, one of the best comedies of this era anyway. And similar cast. And this is really where Jason Segel shines, and he's great, and it's always on TV, and I just so many great, iconic, and quotable scenes.
Yeah. This isn't my Jason Segel movie, but it's a good one. I know he wrote it, and it's kind of his whole thing. But it's a great movie. I'm glad to see it represented on the list.
Again, this is another comedy. You can kill me. I've only seen once, just like Hot Rod. I do think it's very funny. I do think Chris Bell, Mila Kunis are good. At that time, I didn't, know Mila Kunis for anything outside of that 70s show. I do think the movie's funny, but I do think that I respect your picks, and I respect Ted's next upcoming pick. But I think there are some glaring comedies that are going to be making it to having a potential walk-on roles on the team after the draft.
You're right, but obviously with my second pick, I gotta go with I Love You, Man. This is a comedy I did not see in theaters, but saw it in high school. I was having a bad day. I was a senior in high school. Got into a car accident. I hit a car. It was completely my fault. Family was completely nice. We didn't have to exchange anything. It was a light tap. But I get a text from my friend. He's like, hey, I had a bad day. Do you want to come over? I came over. Another friend came over, and he's like, I got into a car accident, so we were all having bad days, and we're just kind of sitting around. Hot Rod came on, and we would watch the last half of Hot Rod, and then I Love You, Man started, and I said, and my two friends go, I love this movie, and I said, I've never seen this movie, and they're like, all right, we're going to sit here and watch I Love You, Man instead of doing any of the other things we said we were going to do. Oh, my dad.
Rashida Jones is criminally underrated too.
100%. She's a beautiful woman.
Yes.
Well, yes, but she's also funny. She does a good role. And then, oh goodness, who's her best friend? The one that's really into Jason Segel. She really cracks me up because we all have we all know women that have friends like that. And when it's not your wife's friend or your girlfriend's friend, it's hysterical. But when when your loved one has a friend that's like that, it is nauseating. And she played that to a T. Fitzsimmons is great in it as the father. Right? He plays Paul Rudd's father, and then his best friend was Andy Samberg, but then also I forgot the guy's name who was also invited to the wedding, which was really funny.
That wedding party is the funniest shot. It's like his dad, his brother, that old man he went on a friend date with, and Lou Ferrigno, I believe, is the wedding party.
And then who was the actor from Reno 911 that he went on? That's the guy you're talking about?
No, that's the I know the name's dancing on the tip of my tongue.
I'll look it up, but you guys go.
But I know who you're talking about. Todd Lemon or John Lemon.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, Tom Lemon.
Yeah, it's great. It's just like I like. I feel like I pick two movies that don't need their flowers given to, if you know what I mean. All right, I'm gonna go on to my third pick.
I'll just be honest with you, Ted, real quick. Yeah, I haven't even scouted this prospect. I have not watched this movie.
That's insane. You're missing out.
I respect your.
On movie, it was not on my list, but also I thought I didn't know how big my draft board had to be.
Yeah.
So
I think I'm gonna have to go with Tropic Thunder in the third round.
Ooh,
is that legal? Is that happening? I'm committing to Tropic.
Are you canceled? Is the first episode canceled?
Okay, no. All right, we've been through this. The people have been through this. Like the point of Robert Downey Jr. is doing this not to offend. He's a shitty he thinks in his stupid mind that he's like an artist and he's doing like an artist thing. And he's just like an idiot for not recognizing it. Like we're laughing at him for doing it. We're not laughing with him because he's doing it.
I agree with you. I'm just saying the social narrative.
But yes, we're also
around this film. There's a lot of missing media literacy.
Yes, yes. Obviously, we're canceled. Elon Musk quoted this movie, but it's the worst line in this entire movie, and it's the line Harvey Epstein type says. So it's a whole thing. But I will be taking Tropic Thunder with my third pick. I think that's a surprise to me as well, because I didn't think I was going to pick this, but oh well.
That's a perfect movie and a perfect comedy for that time.
Yes.
Having said that, when you watch this movie, you can sit back and get back into your, late 2000s mindset and just enjoy it for what it is. I mean, yes, obviously the big glaring thing is Robert Downey Jr. Yeah. Are we just going to gloss over Ben Stiller's character, Tug Speedman? Like, that doesn't age well either.
No. Well, he also plays
Simple Jack.
Simple Jack, yes.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong Reddit post. Yeah, no, you're right. Simple Jack.
Simple Jack.
Yes, I quote. Yeah, I shouldn't have been.
Well, it's like
in my people look like when I see a bowl cut, that's the first guy that I think.
I also want to say
haircut. I have that.
It's not like, oh, that's bad, but like in my mind, it's like, oh, this guy's trying to do like an Oscar bait movie by trying to do like a serious movie with a guy, but like, oh, but it's just like a for laughs thing is sort of where I fall on it,
Bill Hader, fantastic again. And he's got a funny Tom Cruise story about it too, where he's like Tom Cruise like introduces himself and Bill's like, yeah, no, I know who you are. And then when they're at the red carpet, Tom Cruise is like, oh man, can you believe we made that film? And Bill Hader goes, I can believe you made it. I don't know what I'm doing here, but yes, I believe that you made it, and you're the reason why it got made.
Yes, that's funny. All right, John, third pick.
If I'm right, I think you can look at the third round. Like, I think if you're going to look at our board and not look at the numbers and the rounds that they were picked in, you can make an argument that these movies would be first-round movies as well. And I'm torn between two. Don't want to tip picks, but I like this one a little bit more than my second choice. And I'm going with The Hangover.
Thank you.
The Hangover, very quotable, great cast. Zach Galifianakis' coming out party. Yeah. I mean, he was he was a struggling underground comedian that really just took that role to the max. Ed Helms too, little known, he was in danger of getting written off from The Office, and that really helped his career. Bradley Cooper's Bradley Cooper. He was fantastic in it. But that was like the true, and this is just how stupid of a kid I was. I thought every bachelor party was like that. And in fact, the first bachelor party that I went to Vegas, like I was just under the impression that there were going to be characters like that. And I think what makes it so relatable, similar to Superbad, is that we all knew people that had those personalities. You've got the straight man that would get himself stuck on the roof. You have someone who hates his job and is really good looking and like always say, oh, don't get married. And, you don't want it. It's the death of you. Then you've got someone who's got a controlling spouse, and then just the complete outcast that carries the movie and turns out to be better than you were expecting this person to be. So he's great. Ken Jeong is fantastic. I still, every time he pops up on the screen, great. And I'm trying to think, Chevy Chase is fantastic in it. And even this just makes me
Chevy Chase isn't in it. You're thinking of Jeffrey Tambor.
Jeffrey Tambor, you're right. Jeffrey Tambor. I'm sorry, wrong. Crusty, yeah,
wrong canceled person. You're thinking of.
Cancel me. Speaking of cancel, I love the wedding singer who sings "Candy Shop" at the end. And of course, see, now here's the thing. I like that they didn't make a movie showing their exploits of that night. It kind of leaves you wanting more, and I hope that they never do that. Now, I'm sure some streaming service will do that. Who's the actor from Veep who plays the doctor?
Matt Walsh.
Matt Walsh playing the doctor when they go to visit the hospital, and he's talking to the old man, and he's like, all right, I'll see you tomorrow. And then he just shakes his head no at the other guys. Yeah. Like that's always funny. And then when they get interrogated by the cops, and then they get
Rob
shot.
Riggle.
Rob Riggle.
Right, Rob Riggle, yeah.
I
not up in here.
My pants in that scene.
Yeah.
When he kicks that kid's phone, I have never forgotten that child's look over the last 15 years of my life. It is the funniest face. I think Hangover, bravo, John. You got the steal of the draft. That Hangover should have been a first round pick. I think it might be one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. I respect your super bad pick.
Joe, you could have taken it. You took two Chris Nolan. You took two Chris Nolan movies.
That's what I'm saying. I couldn't do it to myself. I couldn't take it.
Sam, third pick.
Third pick is going to be yet another 2007 movie. I'm going to go with Walk Hard.
Fuck that.
Yes.
That was
Sam.
Sam, I was on for my third pick. I was like, do I walk hard or do I go Tropic Thunder? And I lean towards Tropic Thunder. So proud of you.
It might be some recency bias because I just rewatched this movie recently because one of my friends had never seen it and was talking about the Bob Dylan, Timothy Chalamet movie. And I was like, please watch this instead. So really just an impeccably funny film, but also just like every like movie music biopic since then. The only thing I've thought of is like, why does this exist? We already have Walk Hard.
Yes. No.
Like apparently there is basically a scene, I haven't seen it yet, in the Chalamet Bob Dylan movie where he like thinks about his entire life before he goes on stage. And I'm just like, okay, like what are we doing here? But yeah, 2007, just a monster year for comedies that high school fans could not get enough of.
That Walk Hard, exceptional pick. To me, that's the steal.
Yeah, it's one of the most quotable, funniest movies. Like, also, if for anyone listening, if you have a free 4 hours, Walk Hard by itself is hilarious. Yes. If you spend the 4 hours, which I've done, watching Walk the Line, or was it not Walk the Line?
Walk the Line.
Thank you. Yeah. Walk the Line immediately into Walk Hard is some of the greatest 4 hours of my life I've ever spent. It makes Walk Hard even funnier.
I can totally see you. You're right. You can cut yourself in half in an accidental saw fight. Is such a I die laughing.
It's a song about holding hands. You know who's got hands? The devil.
I also do love, what is that? It's weed. You don't want any part of this. Oh, I'm gonna get addicted. That's the thing. It's not addictive. Oh, what? I'm gonna OD on it. That's the thing. You can't OD on it. It's a killer. That movie is a straight hitter, man.
Tim Meadows is good.
Yeah,
he's one of those guys.
That's Judd Apatow, right?
I don't know. No, because I don't think John C. Reilly's a Apatow guy.
I thought, I don't know. I could Google.
He was a writer.
That should be Adam
Oh,
McKay,
he was. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I thought it would be an.
Okay,
no,
so he
wrote it
okay.
with the director.
Gotcha.
All right, Joe.
All right. Well, I will take the other comedy. So for How Much I Love Walk Hard, the two that I thought were first round slam dunks with Superbad were Hangover and Step Brothers. Step Brothers in this era, you could not get away from all of the quotes from Step Brothers. I was watching Cops, everything, the singing Sweet Child of Mine in the car, like every single part of Step Brothers is just perfect hilarity. I don't want to spend too much time on it because I'm sure we all agree there, but Step Brothers, easily one of the funniest, most quotable comedies of all time.
No, this is an excellent pick, quality pick. Got no notes for you, Joe. Finally, I can agree on your picks.
Yeah, honestly, like Joe, I'm surprised it lasted this long, but good value.
It's good value. Joe, pick number 4.
And then on the wrap round, this one I am maybe I like dramas more than you guys. I didn't read the assignment as well since we're doing drama. So many.
Go ahead.
2006 Oscar nominee, The Departed from Martin Scorsese, one of the greatest ensemble casts of all time. You talked about your R-rated theory or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the first, I think I'd probably seen an R-rated movie before it, but Departed is like so R-rated with a curse word every 4.5 seconds that like it's different than like Gladiator, which I'd also seen. You know what I mean? So incredible cast, incredible storyline. Scorsese at his finest. People can argue if it's his best work or not. I think it's at least in the conversation, even if you don't think it is. And I remember like watching that movie completely enthralled. All the twists at the end, the love, relationships, and everything. Just chef's kiss. And I'm also Irish, so that helped.
All right, good pick. Would not be on my list because that's not who I am as a person, but I respect it. But Sam, 4th pick, what do you got?
Yeah, I think we're about to get a run on dramas here because a lot of the comedies are off the board. I am going with 2009, Inglourious Bastards.
Ooh.
I don't know if this is Tarantino's best movie, but it's definitely one of the best movie-going experiences I've had. It's just a very satisfying watch. You also just get a lot of big roles out of guys who you don't usually see. And I mean, you could argue it's more of a comedy, but like BJ Novak and guys like that handling dramatic roles. The part where Brad Pitt's trying to fake speaking Italian, just an absolute classic.
It is a surprising cast for what the movie is.
Yes.
The bar scene with the 3 with the fingers, like they think they're getting out of it.
And the opening scene too is just an absolute classic.
Also, I do believe, to your credit, Sam, I do believe it is his most Oscar-nominated film of his group. Even if you don't think it's his best, I believe it is the most nominated.
And that's how you measure success.
That's of course. So awards are all that matter. Which is why I'm working on the Emmy submission for the next month.
I was gonna say, as a podcast with at least 5 Emmys, 6 Emmys between us, awards matter. John, 4th pick. Yeah, scoreboard.
This is really tough because I got it. All right, I can't believe this wasn't picked. Oh my goodness, this is the best movie of the draft, and I get it for the last pick.
This is not your last. This will not be
your last. Not your last.
This is not your last.
Yeah, this is not the last pick, apparently.
I don't know how you guys are going to beat this anyway. So 2011, I'm going with The Social Network.
Fuck.
Yeah, in all your faces. I thought that this was a podcast just for comedies. I looked it up now. I got the Academy Awards list in front of me. There's no better screenplay. There's no better cast. There's no better storyline. This is a perfect movie. It is the best movie on the list. I can watch it time and time again. You'll get your... Hold on. I still have the floor. This is a fantastic movie. They play Zuckerberg really well. It was very true to the book. Dumb Billionaires, I think was the name of it, or I forgot exactly what it was, the book about Facebook. And I wish that there was a second and third part that Sorkin had a chance to really dive into, because they did a really good job of portraying Facebook in the early stages, the thievery, what some would say, by Zuckerberg. I don't think that he stole Facebook, but I think that he did take some ideas with it. And they do a really good job casting Garfield as Eduardo Saverin and Justin Timberlake as Sean Parker, especially if you read the book. They're pretty close to how it went, and you feel a little empathetic for Eduardo Saverin, who just got hosed out of the whole Facebook ordeal. Like, he got a pretty penny, but he still got hosed out of it, and he lost to his only friend. Arnie Hammer plays two good roles with one with one. Yeah, man. And then the scene that I just always giggle at too was, oh man, when that guy said the next Bill Gates can be in here. Who do you think? Who was that guy? It was Bill Gates. So yeah, that was really funny. And then Macaulay Culkin's wife is in it too. Brenda Song.
She sucks off well. Eduardo Saverin.
That is London Tipton for you from The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. Not
You're right. Yes,
Macaulay Culkin's wife.
Yeah. Yes. That I love The Social Network. It is. I watch it every Halloween because it's the perfect scary movie. You can watch this movie and you can pinpoint the exact moment Donald Trump was elected president for the first time.
It's like, let me sell this nice Halloween marathon. We'll go Nightmare Before Christmas, Hocus Pocus, Social Network.
I love The Social Network. The moment where Andrew Garfield's the best actor in this entire movie. Let's call a spade a spade. Like, he is perfect in this movie. The screaming monologue is he is on a man on fire, man possessed in that scene. He is fantastic in it. And when he does that, I love standing next to you. It makes me feel tough. Ooh, I get chills. I love The Social Network. What's going to be one of my next two picks?
Yeah, Ted got sniped.
I got sniped. I thought I was about to have the steal of the century. I come out like a bandit.
All right, last pick of the draft. Make it
this
good.
Is not the last pick of the draft. Yeah.
Great opening scene, great soundtrack. It was not on my list because I'm staying true to my lived experience. That movie came out when I was in college.
True. I have the soundtrack on. I have the soundtrack on vinyl. I'm a Trent Reznor slut. No, I have nothing else to say. I'm gonna stick to another comedy. It's The Other Guys.
Ooh.
I love. So Superbad is number one on comfort movies. The Other Guys is right behind it. This is buddy cop movie with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg of Wahlburgers. I love everything. Every line out of Steve Coogan's mouth is a gem. Just like everything. I love this movie so much.
That movie revitalized Michael Keaton's career with the TLC references.
Yeah, the TLC bit.
It's so. I love this movie. Oh,
just stick to the rivers and lakes, you used to, kid.
Yeah, rapes are up 15%. Oh, sorry, this is for my other job. But be careful out there. It's so good. All right, I will go. Maybe depends how you want to feel. I'm going to go a little off type here. Not a comedy, depend on.
And this is your final pick, correct?
This is not my final pick.
No, there's 6 rounds. We've picked 4 each.
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
I'm going to go Burn After Reading. I feel like the Coen brothers need a little.
Sick.
Ooh.
Why are you sick?
Because that was going to be my next pick.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely sniped.
I'm as much on the soundtrack, I am a Trent Reznor slut. On the writing and directing, I am a Coen Brothers slut. I think they have not done me wrong, so I feel like they need to get given their flowers. John, next pick.
I never saw Burn After Reading, but I've heard good things about it.
It's a lot of fun.
think I might be stealing from Sam again. I'm gonna go with The Town.
Ooh,
The Town is a great movie. Without the love story in it. Young Blake Lively, Ben Affleck's fantastic, and then Renner. Renner steals the show. Like he's great. Whose car we taking? Like that's who you want your best friend to be. Like just doesn't ask any questions. Does so. Obviously, the Fenway Park scene is iconic, and how they try and get away with it. But their first bank robbery and how they're switching masks, and I think even the part of the movie, which is true in real life, a cop told a story where he saw a bank robber, a car full of bank robbers with, I think either it was assault rifles or heavy machinery, and he just looked the other way. And like that is a true story, and that's very scary that there are people out there, and cops are like, you know what? I'm alone. I'm sorry, but you got to make a business decision there. Yeah, good luck out there. I hope it works for you. Spoiler alert: at the end, when they get Renner, even him just taking the sip of Coke before.
Oh, that is it's off. Hilarious. I'm sorry, it makes me giggle every time.
No, it's great. And then even the scene where what was the other scene where Ben Affleck is with the woman that he's interested in. And Renner comes up from behind, and he has to hide the tattoo. That's a good scene. The Town is fantastic, and it's one of my favorite movies. That all these movies that I've picked so far, I'll watch if they're on TV, or if I've got nothing to watch, I'll pop them on.
Same. Sam.
I just wanted to say
The
ahead. Town, the greatest fake street address, movie address of all time. Where multiple times throughout the movie, Ben Affleck says, I live on 555 Sycamore Street. You know? So it's like, they just made that up for the movie.
Yeah. All right. Penultimate pick for you, Sam. What is it?
I'm going back to the class of 07 here. No Country for Old Men.
That was, I figured that would be picked. It's a class, I have nothing to say about it.
It's a classic, an all-time terrifying villain. I've never coin tossed the same way.
I almost picked a different Paul Dano movie.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna get back to you, but
we'll see. Ooh, if you take it, I respect you. Joe, your final two picks. What are they?
I'll go back here. I think we're in the late rounds. I'm looking for late round value more than what I like the most. So I'm gonna switch it up here, try to get some value picks. And I'm a big gamer, I'm a big nerd. Everybody knows that. And so I'm gonna take Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Incredibly funny movie. I've probably seen it like 10 times in my life. It gets funnier and funnier every time I watch it. All the different like musical references and other gaming references, and just like the quick one-liners. Another fantastic ensemble cast, like a lot of people at the beginning of their careers, kind of before they were super famous in this movie. You had Brie Larson as the ex-girlfriend. You had what's her face from Parks and Rec, Aubrey Plaza as his sister.
Anna Kendrick's in it.
Anna Kendrick, Kieran Culkin as the roommate. Like, just an incredible, hilarious, and the music is awesome. The action is awesome. I think Edgar Wright, such a phenomenal director. I don't know if anyone else has seen Scott Pilgrim, but
this was the
I was gonna pick it, so yes.
This was the last movie I saw with my high school friends. We did a back-to-back showing of this and The Expendables, and I walked out of the theater saying I liked Expendables more.
Quick hitter Pilgrim vs. the World that I just love. Number one is when they're going back to the apartment and they just play the Seinfeld sting, which is pretty fun. And then I love when he's just talking to Ramona and they're talking about bread, and he just goes, "Bread makes you fat." I bring that up every time I eat bread. No, that's a great pick, Joe. I like the movie so much that I actually bought all the comics from Barnes and Noble. And I still have them somewhere. And I wanted to read them so bad that like I bought the first 3 that were in black and white, and then the 4th one was in color, and the rest were in black and white. So like I have the first three. I have one in color. The others are all in black and white. But it's great. The video game is pretty fun. Yeah, no, they did a really good job with the movie, and yeah,
And the music,
I don't
the
think anyone
soundtrack
else.
is just incredible.
Yeah, music soundtrack is good, and I can't think of another person. Maybe Jesse Eisenberg, but it's really Michael Cera. Like he is the perfect Scott Pilgrim.
Well, my favorite story about that movie is, Sarah had to play down his bass playing abilities to be shitty because he was already an exceptional bass player, and canonically the band is a not good band, so he had to play bad. And I think that is very nice. All right, Sam. Joe.
I was gonna say, it's for Perez's "bread makes you fat" line. The like that for me from the movie is chicken's not vegan when he gets his third strike and the vegan police come after him. Yeah, love the movie. My final pick. Now this is again, I'm going with my offensive coordinator. He's all in on this. I might not be in. Like I do enjoy the film, but I'm going with the team. I'm trying to draft the most well-rounded, team here of movies. And quite frankly, it's shocking that a bunch of baseball fans and baseball former employees
I'm gonna boo your pick.
Have not selected Moneyball until the 6th round. So I'm taking Moneyball. Moneyball, Brad Pitt, one of the first Jonah Hill's first serious roles, nominated for an Oscar. Phenomenal movie. Made the plebs, made the normies understand what analytics, like my mom understands how analytics works because she watched Moneyball with me. So the layman person now understands what ruined baseball and what did the irreparable damage that the Oakland A's win that Jon Perez likes to let everyone know. They did not win a single playoff series with the Moneyball strategy. But regardless of if they won or not, and if they ignore Miguel Tejada winning MVP and having 3 Cy Young caliber pitchers and only talk about the backup players that got walked, catching on base.
The fact that Tim Hudson's one reference in that entire movie is when like he's playing cards and Brad Pitt says something to him is, I think, such a misjustice to how good he was for that team.
Yeah. They had the Cy Young and MVP, and they're like, I think our backup first baseman that occasionally walks is the reason we won. I know. We won all these
But anyways,
games.
I'm gonna boo you. You get the boo. Obviously, there were no sound effects. Technically, there are no wrong picks except this one. Sam, your last pick. I think I should start typing it. I believe I know what it is.
I'm gonna leave that one for you. I did just want to say with Moneyball.
I might not take it. I'm not taking it. I'm not taking that pick.
Okay. Moneyball came out when I was in college, and so I saw it when I was in New York. And at the very beginning of that movie, it starts with the Yankees knocking the A's out of the playoffs, and everyone in the theater started hooting and hollering, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
Love New York.
I am going to actually pass on the other Paul Dano movie. I'll save that one for honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Because I need to be true to myself. I'm going to take 2008's In Bruges.
Oh, that's also on my list.
Gotcha.
That's a great pick. Great, man. That is a value pick if I've ever seen it.
Getting that with my last pick.
Yeah. Incredible, right? We're the only two that've seen this. You guys haven't seen In Bruges?
Nothing. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank here.
You guys are missing out.
Yeah, I feel like everyone needs to watch all the movies on this list that we haven't seen.
Yes.
Probably won't be that many. But,
yeah.
In Bruges, absolute banger. Colin Farrell at the height of his powers.
Yeah. Man, it is such a gripping story. Like the story kills me.
Yeah.
John, officially your last pick.
All right. Sorry to go back to Moneyball. My mom, we saw that in the theaters with my brother, my mom, and I, and she asked why the Mets don't do that, and I said they try. And my mom thought that everybody in baseball, well, why would you swing? Just walk. And I said, okay, Mom, you got it. We'll pass that along. This is really tough for me because I wanted to pick either Moneyball or Scott Pilgrim. So Joe, kudos to you.
I'm in your head.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick. I don't know. I just like this movie for no other reason than I like it, and I'm just going with Hot Tub Time Machine.
Ooh, that was a late addition to my list.
Yeah, listen, it's not the best movie. It is funny at times. I can't name any of those actors with the exception of Cusack and Craig Robinson. It's very.
Lizzie Kaplan's in it, I think.
Yeah, she
Maybe.
plays. Yeah.
Rob Corddry
listen,
is also the main guy. Like, he's also a guy.
Sure. Yeah. Listen, it's a fun movie. It's a fun movie. I enjoy it. It makes no sense, and it's just laugh out loud fun. So I'm going with Hot Tub Time Machine.
That's a great pick. Oh man. All right.
Also, a great example of somebody saying the name of the movie in the movie.
Yeah.
And staring directly at the camera. One of my favorite bits of the whole franchise, really.
the whole 2 movies.
I thought there was a third one, but yeah.
There's a third one?
Hot Tub Time Machine cinematic universe.
Yeah.
There's not a third one.
Okay.
Teddy got into strong here.
I think I'm
Mr. Irrelevant.
So I was gonna draft Mystery Team, the Derek comedy movie.
That's on my list. Yeah.
I was gonna draft that, but I'm stunned this movie's here at the last pick. I'm going Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because like I can't believe that's sitting there. I'm assuming the other Paul Dano flick was Little Miss Sunshine. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, it was There Will Be Blood.
Oh, because Little Miss Sunshine was like a
Great
pick,
movie.
was
Great
on
movie,
my
yeah.
list, and I watched that one recently, and I was like, wow, it really holds up. But I mean, Hot Fuzz is just like, I don't know if like between Shaun and Hot Fuzz, it's hard to pick my favorite. I think I lean.
I was gonna
Hot
say,
Fuzz.
if Shaun of the Dead had come out in 2005, that would have gone in the first 2 rounds.
Oh, 100%. No, I agree. I like Hot Fuzz. It's it's a lot like, I prefer oh man, Scott Pilgrim director, blanked on his name. Edgar Wright in these kind of movies and say the bigger ones of Scott Pilgrim. But like, I like him in these kind of like little kitschy, like very like time capsule-y, barely parody movies, if you want to call them that.
Mhm.
I think like Hot Fuzz is just like a great like cop movie. It's a good cop movie. And I know I picked 2 movies where cops are the main characters.
You're just
Love
all in on
cops.
cops.
So, I'm a big Mayor Adams guy. That's my guy. But I think I feel like I can't let this draft end without Hot Fuzz being picked. And that will do it for the high school. There will be a poll under the video description, under the podcast description, in the social media post for you to vote on who drafted the best series of movies. We'll see, and then
we do some honorable mentions. Or we?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I wanted to do that part first, and then we can get into glaring omissions, just so everyone knew how the game's played. So vote. Winner will get to write a question for the next episode. Now, glaring omissions. I think Little Miss Sunshine and There Will Be Blood up there, right?
I think it's an embarrassment that Toy Story 3 wasn't drafted.
I've never seen Toy
I'm
Story
fine
3.
with that.
I've never
Yeah,
seen.
no,
The thing is, everyone had 6 picks. I feel like you can't be like, oh, it's like you had a chance. You could have picked.
Yeah.
You didn't need to put Moneyball.
That's why I like 6.
I had to put Moneyball for the bit. I didn't want to put Moneyball.
I did boo you. I respect you for the bit, but I had to boo you.
I would
make the argument that 2 people in this draft had opportunities to draft either one of their picks with either one of their picks. They had 2 chances in one round to draft their picks, and they didn't.
Not glaring omissions. Just here's the list of stuff from my draft board that didn't get picked. A lot of it did, obviously, because I think we're a lot of like-minded individuals. Jackass 2, 2006.
Ooh.
Yep.
Hold on. Quick question about Jackass 2.
Yeah.
Is that the one with?
That's one where he eats the poop.
No, is that the one with what's it called? Terrorist Taxi.
Yes.
That is right. That glaring omission that should have been picked. That is an all-timer Jackass bit. That is such a perfect show ender, and it kills me every time I watch it.
That's a great one. There Will Be Blood. I mean, I liked it, but not as much as in Bruges. Cloverfield, 2008. You guys are gonna make fun of me for this, but Crank, the Jason.
No,
Statham
Crank
movie.
rules. Crank slaps. Crank rules.
He has to keep his heart rate up. It's like Speed, but for your heart.
Yeah.
Incredibly stupid movie that I love. Mystery Team, 2009.
Mystery Team was like, I really wanted to pick it, but like I feel like I couldn't not pick Hot Fuzz. I feel like I like Mystery Team way more, but for the common man, I picked Hot Fuzz.
No one's gonna support you on that one except for me.
Role
Model.
Ooh, that's a great, great pull.
Another
Michael Clayton, 2007.
Yeah,
and then my last one, the documentary, The King of Kong: A Fistful of Quarters.
Oh, yes.
It also features an all-time shitty bad guy, except it's a real person, which makes it better. But I don't feel bad about picking any of my 6 over those, but that was just the rest of my draft board for transparency's sake.
Rest of my draft board, I've knocked off the ones you mentioned, Sam. Lars and the Real Girl. I'm a huge Gosling slut. Like, I'm a big fan. I like when he plays funny weird guys. If Nice Guys had come out in that time period, that would have been like a surefire up there pick for me. Moon, also, I'm a big Rockwell guy. Like, that guy could be in anything and I will watch it. Moon's fantastic. Gentlemen's Broncos, it's like a really obscure comedy. That's why I didn't pick it. I had Easy A. I thought that was an interesting.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, and I have a indie film. I was debating if I would pick this. It's Jeff Who Lives at Home. It's a Duplass Brothers flick, and I had Hugo, which makes me cry every time I watch it.
I don't have like a big list. I had a bunch of stuff written down from the years, but I wasn't actually like gonna draft some of them. But as the Gosling slut that I know him to be, I am surprised you didn't pick Drive because it is.
I don't like Drive.
You're not as much of a Gos slut as I thought.
No, I prefer. Like I said, I like him when he's the weird, funny guy.
I think you should appreciate Ryan Gosling in all forms.
I do, but I like it more when he's the weird, funny guy. It's why I like Lars and the Real Girl. It's why I love the Nice Guys.
So Drive was potentially on my list. Toy Story 3 I had mentioned. Slumdog Millionaire, crazy movie if you've never seen it.
Oh, I watched that.
Incredible movie.
So I'm doing a thing with my friends where I'm watching the TV show Community, and after every episode, we're watching everything referenced in that episode. We had to watch Slumdog Millionaire, so I watched it for the first time, and I said, "Wow, this is a fantastic movie. How did I never see this before?"
Yeah, it is truly inspirational and incredibly well made. Then Children of Men, Alfonso Cuarón, 2007. Highly recommend if you've never seen that. One of the greatest. Like, he's a phenomenal. He's the guy that made Gravity and Prisoner of Azkaban and a bunch of other things. Phenomenal movie about humanity going infertile, and one woman becomes pregnant, and Clive Owen has to try to save her and help her deliver the baby to help him. Yeah, it's phenomenal. And if I did not tick Moneyball for the bit, I was going to draft a video game movie, which is Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, which
that would have gotten a bigger boo than Moneyball. I'll tell you that.
The sequel or post game of the Final Fantasy VII storyline with Cloud and Tifa and everybody.
John, what was left on your board?
Yeah, it was between Role Model and Hot Tub Time Machine for my last pick, so I'm glad that got some shine at the end. I'm trying to think. I mean, everything else was pretty much picked. Little Miss Sunshine was mentioned, which was good. Spider-Man 2 was great. Spider-Man 3 also good. You know what it was? I didn't look at 06. So I started high school September of 06, and I didn't know like if that counted since it was. Like I said, it was just years.
And then you
For
can
all
like
of us.
you can make any parameters.
I made my own
as you
parameters.
was.
You
Yes.
can do whatever you want.
I made the full years. I went from 7 to 11 because I figured it'd just be
mine's
all-
pretty close. I think The Other Guys is the only movie on my list that is not when I did not see it in high school, and it didn't come out when I was in high school.
For me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I think I was in 8th grade.
I kept it pretty close to where I was at high school wise, because I thought that'd be more representative to me.
I'm happy with my picks, and I can't wait to see me win this poll.
You're not gonna win, buddy. Knocked Up, really?
Knocked Up first round is crazy.
It's a crazy pick.
I
know, but then I made up for it and got stronger as the rounds went on.
Hey, that's Social Network.
Hangover, Social Network, Town.
Social
that
Network
is a hell of a 3.5.
Crowd at pick 20 or whatever.
Yeah, no, Social Networks. That was on the tip of my tongue. I was ready to spring it on. I was like, I'm about to fucking slam dunk. Everyone passing on Clayton Kershaw in this draft. I'm about to get him, and nope. Unfortunate, but man, that's a shame. I would have loved Social Network. I love that movie. But that wasn't, it was number 7 on my draft board, if you're keeping track at home.
I hope somebody is.
Yes. Well, we have all this. Can't wait to see how people vote. It'll be very interesting to see how nostalgic people, how much nostalgia rules people's voting interest. I know it did back in November when people said I was better off 4 years ago than I was today, which is insane thought process to have. Don't know how you got there, but here we are. So can't wait to see where the votes lie. Thank you.
What a great first episode, Ted.
Right.
I'm excited to see this one get published.
There were no other recordings. Like I said, they don't. If somehow you have these recordings, don't know how, please send them to me. Would fucking love them. But, they don't exist. They never happened. This is officially the first episode of the Yap Off podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you had a great time. I'm your forever host, Ted Trinacosta, and the last piece of media I watched was Seinfeld, The Contest.